Chatting session on. Hi guys, welcome back to the session again. Okay,
Hi Aris, good morning.
very good morning guys.
Iris.
Hi, how are you guys? How was your day yesterday?
Yeah, good.
Cool. Okay, let's. Okay, I see 14 participants, including me. Okay, I'll give 2 more minutes for everybody else to join because I see yesterday I saw around 16 guys, and then we can start. Okay, guys, let's start today's session. So for today's session, we will do a little bit of exercise. Okay, I have divided our batch into two different groups. Okay, let's do a quick review of what we did yesterday, what we discussed. Okay. Let me open my. Okay. Sorry guys, this is taking time. Okay, let me open in the browser. Okay, this is the first batch. Let me open the other one. Okay, this is second batch, guys. So I expect. Okay, let's do this exercise like this. Team 2. Okay. So one person from team 1 and one person from team 2 every time they need to tell a point about what we discussed yesterday. Let's say, for example, so we discussed about servlets. So what are the servlets used for? What are the complications in it? You can tell something like servlets are used for developing web application, something like that, and their disadvantages. Okay. Please, let's start in that way. If you guys want to see your batches again, I'll open that. This is batch 2. Okay, I hope everybody's seeing my screen. And this is batch 1. Okay, sure, let's start. Yes, please. Guys, I thought it's of it is of a, like more of an interaction session. If you guys are silent, I can make it myself interactive session, please.
Yeah, I am from team 2. This is
Okay.
Satya. Yesterday we discussed about minimum basics from Java, like how we connect with the Java from database and DB interaction from SQL.
Okay, go on.
The class to interact with DB to retrieve data, logics to verify the data is coming right or not. Created response based the logic and
Okay.
tested the functionality. This is for login program.
Okay, just for login.
Yeah.
Okay. Any volunteer from team 1? So we discussed about Spring as well. We discussed about the need for frameworks. I do expect some points from there, from the topics which I covered.
Hi Harish, this is Deeksha from Team 1. So yesterday we discussed about framework. The main thing that in frameworks we don't need to write boilerplate code first of all, and again framework comes with we have predefined classes and methods provided by framework. Another advantage of framework can be loose coupling also. And yesterday we got into the evolution of frameworks. We got an overview of how frameworks are like evolved till now. And then
Okay.
we have like focused more on Spring as framework.
Okay. Cool. Anything you guys can think of?
Yeah, there's different modules of the Spring Framework, like core module and web module, AOP, and instrumentation and testing also.
Okay. Anything else, guys?
Yeah, we discussed that in Spring we don't have to do transactions all alone. That Spring does for us. And the next thing is, first of all, Spring is modular framework. That was the first point yesterday, I guess, in Spring.
Function management. Okay. It's a modular framework. Right.
And also we understood the architecture of Spring yesterday.
Right. Cool.
Spring is lightweight and dependency injection.
We didn't discuss about dependency injection yet. I told it's famous because of the concept of IOC and dependency injection. Yes.
Yeah.
And Spring Framework built on the top of servlets.
Correct. It's a good point. Okay.
Advantages of Spring.
Built on top of servlets. Okay. Advantages. Right. Can you name one of the advantage? Just I'll put it down here. Anybody? Like we discussed about advantage, but I need to know what kind of advantages we discussed.
Basically, in Spring, we discussed the advantages are like it provides loose coupling, and it provides dependencies like IOC container, and it also support for like hybrid JPN kind of ORM tools to connect with the database.
Correct. So I just wrote only
Hello.
one.
Testing
Yeah.
is easier with Spring.
Yeah, Harish, I remember yesterday you told that in advantage that Spring is non-invasive, but right now I can't recall why we call it non-invasive. So if you could repeat it.
Yeah, sure. We'll do that. We'll do the repetition. Don't worry. Okay. Any other advantages?
Spring
We
is
spoke about
open
less.
source and lightweight.
Yes.
Lightweight and open source.
Lightweight, backed up by
Lightweight,
good community,
scalable,
open
and
source.
maintenance also easy.
Yeah, easy maintenance.
And also
Cool.
it's scalable.
Yeah, cool. So
Well,
we had a good learning session yesterday. I got that. Okay. For today's agenda, that's really good point, guys. That's really good points. So we had a lot of learning. So for today's agenda, let me open a new notepad. Today's agenda. Okay. So let me start with yesterday there were a couple of doubts from you guys. Okay. First one is how to reset a password. We'll cover that. Okay. Second one, how a database works internally, stores data internally. I can frame something like that because somebody messaged me, mailed me saying that they wanted to know about the internal functionality of database, how it works. We'll talk about that. But it's just a high level view. Okay, because I don't want to go in detail and confuse you guys with giving so much of information. It may not make sense to most of the guys. Okay, as we have some freshers here, so I don't want to do that mistake. It's just a very high level discussion. Right. Next, as I promised, okay, yesterday I shared the jar files. Have you guys got a chance to download and look at them?
Yes,
Yes.
Harish.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So you guys have that, right? Good. Okay. After this, I don't want to jump directly into this, like creating a web application using Spring, but we will discuss about MySQL first, okay? Because I understood from our discussion that some of the guys in our batch has very little bit of experience on databases. So we'll see, instead of using the admin, okay, my admin. So I'll use a console to create a query, just to make you guys comfortable with MySQL as well. It's just a overview. We're not going to go in detail as well. But if you guys want me to go in detail, I'm happy to do that. This is an overview. After that, we'll see what is IOC. What is IOC with examples. Okay. Then we'll talk about DI, dependency injection. Dependency injection. Okay, with examples again. Right. After that, we'll discuss about 6th point. After that, we'll discuss about Spring Web application. Okay, that is a step-by-step procedure. We'll discuss when we get there. We'll discuss about like how we are going to do, what kind of configuration we need. Okay. Similarly, what kind of jars we need to start the web application with Spring. Okay. That's the agenda for today, guys. If we have some time left, then we can go forward in our training. Right. So first things first, how to reset a password. Okay, let's say, oh, cool. Just give me a minute, guys. Okay, I'm not sure how you guys are installed. Basically, I asked you to install it from the MySQL installer. If you have done that, so it will be a service in Windows. So I am using Windows. I'm not sure what kind of OS are you guys using. So I'm expecting it is Windows from everybody. If not, please let me know. I will figure out something. Okay, first we need to find the service. Okay, for that I will go to admin tools. Okay. There is something called services. Just click on that. Please let me know, guys, if you're not able to follow. Okay, I'll reduce my pace. MySQL, right? So which is running. So for me, MySQL server is a service for me, and it comes up whenever my Windows starts. Okay, that's automatic here, started type. Now, in order to reset the password, I need to kill it. So I need to stop it. Okay, I did that. So it's not in the it's not started yet. Okay, so now there is a procedure which we need to follow. First, you need to create a file. In that file, we need to paste a query. Okay, let me do that. Okay, so I have already created a file. Okay, you can name anything whatever you want. I took mysql-init.txt, and this is a command. Okay, alter user root @localhost identified by root. So I'm changing the username for root. Okay, right. I will take this, go to okay, I will paste it here. Basically, I'm reading it from here, so that's why I'm just pasting it here. It'll have the same exact content. Right. Next, what I will do. So once you need to find your installation directory, okay, where you install your MySQL. So for me, it is in C drive. I don't know where you guys installed that. Based on your installation, you need to find. Okay, right. So I know my installation directory, but for you guys reference, I'll show you where it is. Okay, if you click on here, there is a properties, and there is something called path to execute, right? So that's in the C program files, MySQL. This is my directory, right? Copy. So now I will open command prompt in the administrator mode. Okay. I don't think if you're using office laptop, I don't think you guys will be having admin rights. That's okay. Okay. Now I change to the directory. Right. Now I need to execute a command. Okay. What is the command which I need to execute? So I have it already done here. So I'll take it from here. Okay. If you want, I will slow down for you guys after pasting here. If you want to record, see that. It's all. Okay. Oh, I need to change this. My bad. It's in the C drive. Okay.
Harish, can you paste that in the chat box?
Sure. Okay. Okay. Now all I need to do is just execute that. See, the server doesn't produce any error. Okay. Now I will try to connect to my MySQL from the command prompt for this time alone. Okay. How do I connect? There is a command for that you can use. Basically, in your bin directory, there will be a mysql.exe. If you go to installation folder, right? You can look for that. So I will use mysql tab exe. And what is my username? For that, there is a command which you need to use, -u small, and my username is root. Okay, I need to use a password, so -p. So it's asking. Whatever the password you give, should work. Oops, cannot connect to MySQL on localhost. There is some issue with it. Okay. Did I change my? Oh, that's weird. Okay, let me find. Just give me 1 minute, guys. Okay, why is it not getting connected? Crap. For some reason, I'm not able to connect from my Eclipse. Sorry, my command prompt. Let me open my pgadmin. Sorry, MySQL installer, whatever. Okay, looks like at least it will work. Yeah, it's working. Oh, I did a blunder mistake, guys. I need to start it. My bad, I forgot the step in between. So now it's running. Now I should be able to connect. See, now I'm able to connect. Now I can see my, let's say if I want to see my databases, what are available for me, what have I created earlier. So I have command. Basically, you can tell SQL syntax. Okay, database. It's a semicolon. Yes, see, I have all the information here. Right. Okay, coming to the next agenda, step in our agenda. So as I promised, I'll be explaining
Harish,
about. Oh yeah.
can you paste that command, that alter user root @ localhost
Oh, okay.
in the text file? Yeah, in the chat box.
I'll do that. Okay, I don't want to play with my services, so that is good. Where is our agenda? Okay, so let's see. Yesterday I told the database basically in behind the screens it'll be using file systems, right? So let me show you that. Okay, so if you go to data, whatever the DB schemas you saw in my command prompt, you can find it here. See this. So information schema, let's see. So dot to receiver, find my doctor, first servlet, Harish, library, MySQL, truck wall, everything in here. So it depends, guys. Again, it depends on database what you are using. Some databases may store the entire information in a single file, or like MySQL, it uses different files for different data. So if you go to some, let's say we did the my first servlet, right? So we had a login table. So that is how it is storing in this format. Okay. Now let's come to the internal implementation. Okay. Let me open. Okay. I don't want this anymore. So I'll go back. I will remove this. Okay. Where is my Spring Boot training images? Here I am. Okay. Now, if you remember from our previous session about connecting to database using Java, okay? So first we established a connection before executing any query, right? So let me pick a pencil here. So if you see properly here, there are clients, right? That means we are serving the clients. So connection, the thread handler, this is responsible for handling the connection requests. So it can handle multiple requests at a time. That depends on the configuration again. So how many requests you are configured, okay, that many requests it can handle. So that's why we are showing multiple arrow marks here. Right. Coming to the next step. The next step is, if you remember our query, after establishing a connection, I prepared a query using prepared statement and then executed, right? So once you start executing, it will come to parser. Okay, this is where most of the work will be done, like parsing the query, understanding this SQL. Okay, if there is any issues, okay, it will respond if there is any syntax errors. So for every syntax error, okay, there will be a particular error code available. Okay, so you will get that kind of code response. Let's say my parser is busy, right? So how it's going to handle? So that's why we have this query cache. Whatever the query you trying to execute, it will be residing in this query cache till my parser is available for parsing that query. So that's why we're reading from the we're reading from the query cache as well. So right, so this is the second step here. We didn't speak about optimizer, so it's like, let me take the better one. Okay, so this is the second step. So we didn't speak about optimizer. So what is the role of the optimizer? So this is okay. Let me take an example. So if you run Java code, right, it will be converted into bytecode. So, but before converting into bytecode, so there are some logic, syntactical validations done, right? So whether you are following the appropriate syntax or not, then the code is getting optimized. Then the code is getting converted into bytecode. So the same thing will happen here. So we are going to validate against all the kinds of exceptions. Okay, we are trying to not we basically, the parser will try to understand the query which you are sending. Okay, then it will interact with the storage engines. Okay, so then comes the storage engines are responsible for storing and retrieving the data based on the parsed query. Okay, any questions on that, guys? That is how it works. I'm not going into the bytecode parser conversion and everything. That is irrelevant for our topic, because if I speak regarding that, it will be gibberish for most of the guys, which means they can't understand what I'm speaking. Right. There is one more topic, how this parser and optimizer will communicate with the storage engines. Basically, there is an API available that is called storage API. So it is responsible for fetching and inserting the data into the storage engines. Right. Any questions on that? Cool. So let's move into our next topic in our agenda today. Right. So before going into MySQL, okay, how many of you have experience in MySQL or SQL, any kind of database, guys? I'm asking this because I need to know, okay, from where I have to start.
Harish, I have worked on PostGIS and a little bit while training on MySQL.
Okay, so but do you have vast experience in Postgres?
Not that much, but
Okay.
I have worked it. Yeah.
So are you guys comfortable in executing any queries? Are you guys comfortable to use, the different concepts available in any SQL, like using bare class? I mean, like filtering the results based on your conditions, grouping the results based on some condition, right?
Yes.
Are you guys able to do that, such kind of complex queries using subqueries, something like that? If not, I am more than happy to explain. So I'm taking that as no, which means I'm going forward with my explanation about the DDL commands and DML commands. Okay. For this purpose, I'll be taking a simple, right. Okay. First, let's create a database. Okay. And then we start using that database for our training purpose. And then we'll try to insert some data, first create some tables and then insert some data. Okay. And then we'll try to do some select statements. Okay. If that is okay with you guys. Yes, no, okay. So it's your choice, guys. Do you guys want me to use the UI, or you guys want me to use the command prompt? It's up to you. Basically, if I use command prompt, I'll be using the raw syntax of SQL. If I use the UI, I'll be using, I already showed you yesterday how to create a table using the UI. So it's your choice. If you want me to use UI, I can do that. If you want me to use command prompt, I can do that as well.
For detailed DML queries, I
Just
can use command prompt.
command prompt. Cool. Thank you. Okay. First, let's create a database. Create database. There are some optional commands which I'm leaving for now because I know something like I need to write create if not exist, but I'm not writing that because I already printed what are the databases available here for me. Okay, so I know what are the database available here, so I'm not writing that if not exist. So if you want, you can try that. Okay, what is my database name? Let's say I want to let's say I want to maintain employee details. Okay, very simple. We are in corporate world now. Let's take the same example. Okay, so employee management. ELOYEEMANAGEMENT. Right. That is, oh, I forgot a semicolon. So that's my syntax. Right. Now let me show databases. Right. I forgot my syntax again. So if you see now, there is one more database getting added to our database list. Right. Now how to use that database? So if I'm not using the database, by default I'll be on some database. Okay. If I create a table, that will be getting inserted into the database, which I don't want that to happen. Right. So let's create use the database what we just created. So how do we use that? There is a command use my DB name. What is my DB name? Okay, let me type it. Employee manage. Okay, there is a spelling mistake. Instead of meant, I wrote ENT. We'll use the same. So DB changed. So that means I'm using my database. Right. Now, let's start with a simple create statement. Right. So let's think about that. If I'm an employee, so what will I have? I have an what kind of properties will I be holding? Right. If you have to think it as an object. Okay. What kind of properties employee object will have? So I can think of employee name. Okay, I'll have first name, last name, basically employee name in the sense. So that I should be I will be tagged with an ID, right? There will be ID number, that is my unique identifier. So, and if you want, you can store gender information, mobile number. I don't want to go in detail, so I'll just take employee name, employee ID, hire date. Okay, that's more than enough for us. Or maybe you can take the gender as well. Okay, let's create simple statement. So to create any table, you need to use create. Okay, this is called data definition language, whatever you are using. Why? These are called DDLs. Why? Because we are defining. Okay, what are we defining? We are defining. So let it be a table, let it be a view or anything. In database, we consider them as objects. Okay, so we are defining an object. Right. Create. What is my table? What kind of object I'm creating? So my object is of type table. So that's neat. I need to provide this. Create table. What is my table name? Let's say I'm going to go with employees for now. Okay, right. And I need to input what are my characters here. MP underscore number. Okay. So what is the data type? So if you remember any of the programming languages, any languages, it comes with the data types to hold particular type of variables. Like I would say a particular type of data. Let's say for numbers, you can go with int, right? So this differs from database to database again. Okay, so for example, in Postgres, you can go with a big int, right? Like that. Similarly, here also we have int, varchar, character, boolean, date, type is date. Okay, yeah. Now let's do employee number is of type int. I'm taking int, right? If you want to specify the length, okay, what is the size? You can specify, but for int it does not require, right? Now, if there is any constraint which you are imposing on the column, Is there any constraint? Okay, what is meant by constraints? So I would say I don't want this column to be empty. Okay, which means I need to impose a constraint which specifies that. So what is that? What do I have? Is there any syntax available for me to specify that? Yes. What is that? It's not null, right? Something like this. If you want to specify one more, if you want to imply one more constraint on it, let's say I want it to be unique, I can do that, right? But let's say I am imposing it as not null alone. Anyway, I will be declaring it as a primary key in the end, so that's why I'm just going with not null, right? Now, what do I need to have again? First name. Okay, so in the name, I won't be accepting. Let it be. I can accept. Let's say Harish 1, Harish 2, if there are multiple guys, right? So I'll be using as varchar. You can use the small letters, it doesn't matter. So it's just because I am giving you the appropriate syntax, so I'm going with the capital letters for the data type and any constraint on it. So if you want, you can go with 20, 30, doesn't matter. For me, I'm going with 20. So which means I'm allowed to. So you are allowed to enter only 20 characters in this first name field, in this first name column, right? Is there any constraint for that? I would say it is also not null. It is a mandatory field for me, right? Now, what should I do next? What kind of other properties do I have? So last underscore name. Okay, varchar. So it's also 20. It's not required, but still I'm imposing that. And for every person, I expect to have a last name. Okay, so that means it is also not null, right? Now, okay. Now, what else I need to have? Let's say I need to have a higher date. Okay, what is of type data type? So it can be date. There is a data type called date, and I can impose a constraint. It is not null as well, right? Now, is there any primary key in this table? See, when we are dealing with RDBMS, okay, it is a better way to provide a primary key for every table. Okay, so I'm going to provide a primary key. And what is that? So I can go for EMP number, EMP underscore number. Right, it's done. Let's execute. Okay, you have an error in syntax. Check the manual that corresponds to my SQL server for near number. Yes. So there is no field with EMP hyphen number. It is EMP underscore number. Okay. So now the query is okay. So you can tell employees. EMPLOYEES. Okay. I don't have any data in it, so that's why it's empty set. Now it's our time to insert some data. So it's DML, okay? Because we are manipulating the existing objects, which means we are inserting or deleting or something. Okay, so what are DML statements do I have? Insert, update, delete. So basically I am doing some operation. I am manipulating some whatever, let it be insertion or let it be deletion or let it be update. Okay, it table, or it can be a view, anything. Basically, if you speak about object, so okay, we are manipulating an object. That's why it is called as DML. Now, insert into, okay, employ employees. If you want, you can directly give the fields and everything. That is because, let's say If I want to insert everything, I don't have to give any details. Okay, directly I can give values and I can go on. If I want to skip some of the fields, if I want to insert only 2 or 3 fields, I need to specify my DB engine. What are the fields which I need to insert and what are the fields which I need to ignore. So in our case, all fields are mandatory. So I am not taking chance of, okay, inserting only very few. So I'll be inserting everything. Right. Just a minute, guys. Okay, where am I at? So I will be going with values, and first one, it's EMB number. Remember, you have to always, if you are not specifying the column names, okay, you have to insert in the same exact order. Otherwise, there will be an issue. Okay. Now, to better understand, if you guys want, I can show you in the workbench, okay, how a table will be created, right? There is some issue with my server. Could not connect my server. Forget about that. It's okay. So insert into employees, values. So what am I inserting? Employee number. What is my employee number? Let's say I'll go with 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, what is my first name? So it's of type varchar, right? So I expect some in the string format. Reach. Okay. Next, what is my last name?
Sorry,
Just
your
go to
command prompt is not visible to me.
Sorry?
Command prompt is not visible to me. It's not visible to
Oh,
me properly. Can you down it a little bit?
you mean?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah,
Better.
it's good.
Okay. So what is the higher
So
date which I, yes. Tell me, guys.
no, I said thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, what is a higher date which I specified? Let's say I'll be inserting in 2020 03/16. Okay, then that's all. I don't have to specify anything. So one row affected. Now let's see. I didn't specify any primary key. Remember, guys, I don't have to because it is a constraint. I'm applying a constraint on a column. Okay, what is the column which I'm applying constraint? It's an employee hyphen number. Okay, what is meant by primary key? So it is useful for us to uniquely identify, okay, a record in a table. So is it only unique? No, it's not only unique. The combination of unique and not null is primary. Basically, if you deal with some indexes, okay, we will be using these as primary keys. Sorry, primary keys as their, no, we will be creating indexes on these primary key columns. Okay, when we get there, we'll discuss about that. Okay, select asterisk from my table name, employees. Okay, that's all. If you see, there is one record, right? Now let's insert some other details. Just quickly, let's insert only 5. I'll use the same 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you see, okay, here's the error. It's a duplicate entry because I specified as a primary key, which means it has to be unique. Right. Okay. Okay, now I inserted, let's see how many records. I inserted 4 records. Let's try to get some records. Let's try to filter based on some conditions. Okay, let's see how can we filter. Okay, if you want to count, okay, count number of records in the table, you can use count like that. So if you want to count only based on a column, you can do that. It doesn't matter if you use a star or if you use any column name like EMP number, it doesn't matter. Okay, count from what table? Employees. So it will give me the record count. Okay, let's say I want to fetch whose last name is P. Okay, just P. Okay, for that we have class. We have classes. We need to understand what is a class. So where is a class type? Whenever we encounter some other classes, I'll be telling you guys. But now to filter it based on a condition, we will be using where class. Where, let's say last underscore name equal to just P I need. Okay, there is problem again. That is not hyphen, this underscore. See, okay, database provides us to match a regular expressions as well, right? Let's say I wanted to find all the employees whose name starts with H. Okay, unfortunately in our data we have all Harish, so but this will help us. Where first underscore name like, so I hope you guys are familiar with the regular expressions. It's just like match everything after P. Do we have any data? No, because our first name always starts with H. So let's see with H. See, we have data. Any questions on that, guys? Okay.
Hi, Harish.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you have inserted the data in the format like 2020/03/16, but in the
Yes.
database it is showing in some other format like hyphen.
Okay. So when you insert data, if you are not specifying any appropriate format to be inserted, okay, because I just inserted as it as a like double quote on the data format, right? So by default, there will be a conversion. By default, there is a data format which is supported by MySQL. So if I don't specify any format, in what format it has to store, by default it will take YYY hyphen MM hyphen DD. Okay.
Okay. So I can shuffle these things like I can use first DD and MM and then YYYY.
Yes, you
I
can
can
do that.
use that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And what about this percentage? I mean, is this applicable for all the database?
Okay.
That's like.
Remember, guys, yesterday I told we may name it SQL. That means structured query language, because it's in a structured format. We are querying the database, right? But not all the SQLs are same. So it depends on database to database. For this database, we are using like. Similarly, Oracle also supports like. It's not like it doesn't support like command at all. Okay, it will. There are some minor differences. The engine might be having some other way of implementation. Yes, to answer your question, for other databases also we can use this H percentage. I mean, like whatever the letter percentage. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Any other questions on that? Okay, let's get back to another table now. Now let's try to a little bit of complication here. Let's try to insert departments. Select. Okay, Oh, sorry. I need to create a table again. It's not a select. Create table. It doesn't matter, guys, whether you are using small or capital. So for your better understanding, I'm using capital again. So there is no constraint that you have to use only small. It's not case sensitive. Java is case sensitive, but not SQL. Departments. Okay, now I can think of department number. Okay, I can think of every department has a name. So I would say that's all. I don't need anything more. dpt underscore number. So like, let's say I work for development, I work for testing, or something like that. So instead of going with the full name, let's come up with short names like DEV for developers, TES for testers, something like that. Okay, for database admins, DA admin, or just DA admin, something like that. So that for that purpose, I'll be using character. This is because I wanted to show you the uses of different data types. So far, we saw the data type of varchar, we saw the data type of int, we saw the data type of a date. So now it's character. So how many characters can I allow? Let's say 4. Okay, is there any constraint for this? Do you want me to add any constraint? Yes, it's not null. Okay. Now, next one is I need to have a name. Right, what is the data type for name? It's always again varchar because I expect strings. Right. So I can give 20 as my character length. Right. Now it is also not null. I'm not going to accept any null values. Right. Is there any primary key? Remember my first statement about a table. We need to it is always a good practice to have a primary key because it performs better when you are trying to fetch data on the primary key because it is unique. So it won't it's not duplicate, right? So which means it is unique. It will be easy for me to retrieve the data. So it's always a good practice to have primary key. Okay, what is my primary key? Again, it is better if you give your primary keys which are integers instead of giving characters. I mean like numbers. Okay, not integers, numbers. Do not give characters. It'll take some time. See the implementation, the way it searches, it based on the hashing concepts. I don't want to go there. Okay, so if it is a string, I guess you might have learned about the hashing in Java. Okay, I'm not sure whether they taught you hashing or not. So it's one of the important concept. So string has one of the worst hashing algorithms, so I cannot use strings. So it's always better to use integer or whatever the numbers basically, right? So I'll use the department number. Is there any other constraint? So I can directly impose a constraint like here, unique, but I don't want to do that. So I want you guys to know there is other ways also doing. So I will try to do that using unique. Okay, my department name is unique. I cannot have duplicate department names. Okay, is there anything I need to do? Is there any foreign key constraint here? No. See, in relational databases, so there should exist a relation. No table is left without any relation in a DB schema. Okay, so as of now we haven't completely created the schema. We have only 2 tables. That's why I am not establishing any connection between the tables. I will show you in the next table how to establish a connection, right? How to link 2 tables. Right. Oh, I forgot a colon. Dip name and does not exist. Okay, it's DEPT name. Pardon my spellings, guys, again. Okay, so quickly, we already saw the insertion. I will insert quickly. Insert into DEPARTMENTS. Okay, I'm not going for the, again it is values. I'm not specifying any columns here. So my department number is integer. Let's say I'm going with 1. I'm going with dev. 2. I'm going with test. Okay, going with 3. I'm going with HR. I guess that should be good enough. Now you can do a select statement on the department table. Yes. Okay, so if you see, we have 3 records. Now I'm not doing any of the select statements because I already showed you how to work with the select statements, but we will do more complex select statements later. But for that we need data, so that's why I'm trying to create data. Now that is done. So let's try to have, okay, every employee will be working for a single department, right? Either it can be dev department, or it can be test department, or it can be HR, right? So let's create a table to do the relation, okay, to establish a relation between these things, right? So what is my table? I would say dept underscore emp, because I'm combining 2 tables here. Okay, emp. And what kind of columns do I need? Okay, I need, okay, that to establish a relation. So first we can establish a relation between employee. We need employee number who works for what department. Let's say 1234 works for dev, 1235 works for test, right? For that I need columns. So let me insert emp underscore number, and it's of type integer. Remember guys, if you are planning to provide a primary key foreign key relationship, the column names doesn't need to match, but the data types has to be matched. So what do I mean by that? So I am planning to provide this emp number as a foreign key reference here. So which means I am referring the table employees. So in the employees table, I have emp underscore number. So it needs not to be emp underscore number, the column name. You can change the column name whatever you want, but to form a relationship, okay, what needs to be there? So it has to has the same kind of data type. Okay, so I'm going with integer. Of course it's not null. Every employee will have a number, right? Now dept underscore number, so it is also of type integer, right? And it is not null. Do I need to have any from date to date where he worked for? It's up to you, but I don't need that right now. Okay, I'm not going to do that right now. That's all. Oh, okay, I can alter this table. So I forgot to add the foreign key constraint right now. Just a minute, guys. So I can alter the table. I forgot to enter my foreign key constraints. So how can I add it? So there is some command called alter. Okay, so basically it's I told you we are altering this table structure. So it's again DDL. I'm changing the definition, right? I'm changing the definition, so it's again DDL. Right. So how can I alter? alter. What am I altering? Am I altering a view or a table? What am I altering? A procedure. Alter table. What is my table name which I'm altering? dept underscore emp. So what am I changing? Do I need to add a, primary key, or do I need to add a foreign key, or what? what do I need to do? So I need to add a foreign key constraint, right? So for that, I will be changing it to add, okay? What am I adding? Foreign key constraint, FOREIGN key. And what am I adding? So editing the EMP underscore number. So whatever the column which you are trying to impose a relation, that is a column name here, okay? And now we need to refer to appropriate table, right? REFERENCES. That's how you're going to refer to a appropriate table. So I'm going to refer to employees, right? So what is a column in the employees? So I do remember it's under EMP underscore name. I told you it doesn't have to match the column names, but it has to match the column data types. So in our case, it is of integer both the types. So I'm able to do that, right? Okay, 0 records found, 0 rows affected because I literally do not have any rows there. Okay. Oh, again, I forgot. I need to insert one more relation here. It's DEPT number, and it's not from employees table. It is from departments, DEPARTMENTS, and it's DEPT number. Yeah, okay. Cannot add foreign key constraint. Why is that? DEPART, add foreign key department number, DEPT underscore number, DEPT underscore number, DEPARTMENTS. Okay, that's okay. We have one constraint. I'll be able to show you guys how the database really works. So let's try to insert. Okay, let's try to get select asterisk from DEPT underscore EMP. Okay, I don't have anything, so let me insert into DEPT underscore EMP values, and I have to insert the same values what I have in the previous tables. So my first one is employee number. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, comma. He belongs to 1. I'm imposing a constraint. Okay. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5 belongs to same one. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay. Right. 6 belongs to 2. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What else I have? 7. Let's say 7 belongs to 2. Right. Right. I do not have any employees in the 3. Let's do some queries here. Okay. So let's say I wanted to find employees who are working for dev department. Okay. So now we have 2 tables. There are 2 ways to do that. So either you can go for subqueries or you can join. So for now, let's go with the subquery. So what is meant by subquery? A query which has internal again a query that is called subquery. So let's see. Select. I want to find all the employees who are present in dev. I know the dev. I don't know the dev ID. I mean like department ID. So, but I need to know all the employees. So I will be querying the employees table. Okay, and there is a where constraint. So what is my constraint? So it's EMP. So you need to know the column names. So EMP number, EMP underscore number. Okay. Do I need to give equals is always a single comparison. So I may get multiple employees, I don't know, right? So I'll be going with the in, which means you will be getting a bunch of employees. So you are comparing your current employee number with the employee number, whatever we are getting from the result set of a query. So what is my query I have to do? Select. So I need to pass whenever we are doing a comparison. So it expects only one column. I cannot provide like multiple columns, whatever I want. No, I need to provide only single column. So emp underscore number from what is the table I'm trying to get it. So I have departments in the departments, right? Dept underscore okay. Where is my table name, guys? Departments. Dept. What is my spelling? What is my spelling? Depart. Ments. Departments. Right. That is good. But does my departments table have emp number? No. So what do I have here? I have department number, right? Dept underscore number from departments. I'm getting department number from departments. So, but I need to get an employee relation. So where do I have employee relation? I have in the table which we just created, that is dept underscore emp. So let's select. Okay, first I need to filter the department name, right? So let's do that. Don't get confused here. Where my dept underscore name equal to, okay, I know the particular name, so that's why I'm giving equals. So it's dev, right? I have a query here. Right, this query will give me a department number. So where do I have a department number stored again? It's in the dept underscore emp table. What am I selecting? I'm selecting emp underscore number from, what is the table name? Dept underscore emp, where, okay, on what is the column I'm filtering on? So I have dept underscore number. Okay, I will get only single number here. So that's why I'm going with the equals condition. Right, let's see. So we have 2 employees who is working for department dev. Right, any questions on that, guys? So are we clear with the subqueries concept? Right, so I have a question for you guys. Okay, in these queries, okay, how a query will be executed? Please tell me which query will be executed first. Anybody?
Internal query.
So I have like two internal queries.
The one which is inside, like department number equal to select department number from department, where department name is called dev.
Okay, correct, that is correct. Okay, so here I have to tell you guys, it is not recommended to write multiple subqueries because it may affect you in the performance. Here we have only 4 records, so that is okay. But let's say in the real time you will be dealing with some millions of records. Okay, if you write a subquery, so it means like you are putting so much of burden on the database node. First it has to run the internal query, then it has to compare the results with the external query. So it is not recommended. So even there will be a performance constraint related to the queries. Sometimes you may be asked to tune the SQLs. Okay, for that you need to be clear with these concepts, right? So what else we can do? Grouping. Okay, so has anybody worked with grouping? Can somebody please tell me the query? Because I heard some guys has experience, right? So I want to group the employee names. Okay, according to their departments. Yeah, please feel free. If not, I will type, that's okay. Okay, before going there, I'll give a broader picture how it looks like. Okay, let me open. Okay, new drawing. So let me take a pen here. Okay, so we have EMP table, basically employees. So I'm naming it as EMP. Okay, and we have department table, DEP, right? And we have DEP underscore EMP table. I'm sorry guys, I do not have a the entity diagram creator, so unfortunately I have to do it using hand. Okay, D-EMP, right? So in here I have EMP number as my primary key, so that is referenced here as foreign key EMP, right? And I have DEPT number and DEPT name. So we have a reference here, DEPT underscore number. So this is what I'm speaking about, the relations. See, if you see, there exists a relationship between all the tables here, right? Pardon my handwriting again. So any questions on that, guys? Okay, that is good. Since we don't have any questions, we can move forward. But before going, let's take 10-minute break. We'll be back. So as per my time, it's 12. I'm not sure what is the time in India. We'll be back in next 10 minutes. Okay. I just need to quickly grab water, guys. Thank you. Recording. Okay. So we saw about relation, how to establish a relation. So what is the use of that relation which we established? Because those relations will help us to join two different tables. Okay. So in our previous discussion, so we have the join here, right? I mean, like we have the tables here. So I can join EMP table. So I can join EMP table with DEPT table, and I can join DEPT table with department table. So that is my relation. That is my relation here. So how a join will happen, right? It is a side by side. I would say it's a column by column. Okay. So we are just attaching the two different tables together. So what do I mean by that? So now let's say I am taking EMP table plus, okay. Oh, forget about EMP table. Okay, forget about EMP table. So I am taking DEPT underscore EMP table, DEP underscore EMP, and I would like to join with department table. So plus, it is DEPT. So that means I'll be having a new table with whatever the columns I have in both the tables, right? So I have EMP number, so that will be 2 times. So both the tables have that, right? I will be having department number, and I will be having department name. Okay, so it will be a side by side join, right? What is the requirement for that? So if you see that, so I can join based on department number, right? These two department numbers, right? It is again the same rule goes here when we talked about the relationships. So it doesn't bother about the column names. So what matters? So the data type matters here again, right? Okay, instead of writing in the command prompt, it'll be better if we write it in the this one. So it's your choice, guys. Where do you want me to write? Do you want me to write it in the workbench, or do you want me to write it in the command prompt?
Workbench will be better.
Okay, okay. So select, what am I doing? What do I need? I'll be showing one kind of join. This is equi-join, okay? But we'll speak about the left outer join and the right outer join and the inner join as well, okay, with an example. Right, now let's do the simple join between two tables, okay? This is equi-join. Right, what is my first table? Where I need, what all I need? So you can put right now star. I need everything from DEPARTMENTS departments. Okay, let's take alias name D, comma, another table DEPT underscore EMP, okay, DE, comma, and so on. But for now, I will do only two. Okay, what is my condition? What is my join condition? Where D dot DEPT underscore number equal to, okay, DE. So if you see properly, I am using the alias names, right? DE dot DEPT underscore number, right? So let's try to execute that. Okay. Okay, I need to make this as my use this set as default schema. Okay. See, what did I tell you about the joins, guys? It is a side by side, right? So both the tables attached together, and we are having the result, right? Any questions on that, guys? You understood how a join works, right? Yes, no, yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So now I would like to, okay, there is a, yes, that's good, that's good. So I would like to filter the details. Okay, I just need DEPT underscore number, okay, comma, I need DEPT underscore name, DEPT underscore name, okay, but there is a column ambiguity, right? So if I tell DEPT underscore number, do my SQL engine know from which table it has to pick? No, it cannot. So that's why we have to use the alias names from where I have to pick D.DEPT. Now, there is no ambiguity for department name. So, but still, if you want, you can use D. Otherwise, you can leave it as it is. But for our safety, I'm using D dot. Okay. And what else I need? I need the employee number. That is from DE. Right. Again, there should be a condition if I'm joining. Okay. If I'm joining two tables. Okay, there is a blind thumb rule which you need to follow. Let's say if I'm joining two tables, I need one join condition. Okay, okay, crap. Oops, sorry. So if I'm joining two tables, then I need only one join condition. Let's say if I'm joining three tables, I need at least minimum two join conditions. So it's always the number of tables which you are joining is is greater than the number of join conditions by one, only one. Okay. Where paste? Why is paste not working here? So bad. Okay, if you see now, I filtered the result set. Okay, now let's say I wanted to, now my requirement, coming back to my requirement, I wanted to count. Okay, I wanted to count the number of employees in a particular department. Okay, right. For that, what I will do, I'll rewrite the same here, but instead of that, I will go with, I don't need that. sorry, my bad. So remember our count statement, which I told earlier. So you can use on it any single date table, right? So if I do this, there will be a problem. Okay, let's see what is the problem. I'm getting it, but you can group. See, I'm getting the count, entire count, all the count of the details, right? I need to group. GRO group by. Okay, what is a okay? Here is a thumb rule again. So these are called as aggregate functions. The count, min, max, average, and there are many more. Okay, so these are aggregate functions. When you are using that, you need, if you are grouping by any particular character, any particular property, whatever the number of columns here you used on the left hand side, like here I just only used one, so you need to use them in the grouping section. Okay, like that, group by. Okay, let's see. So now you understood the different guys, right?
Yes.
Cool, that's good, that's good. So unfortunately I don't have data to show the union and union all. Okay, but I can explain you how it works. Okay, let me go to my browser again. I'll open a new image. Okay, oh sorry, cancel, new drawing. So we saw a join definition, how a join works, how it works actually. So it will be appending the columns, but union, it's not appending. So it's like mathematical union. So it's okay, it is a row wise join. Okay, how, what do we mean by row wise join? Let's say my table has 10 records. Okay, let's say table 1, and I have table 2 and it has 10 more records. So if I do union, so at the end I'll have a bigger table with the same column names. Okay, and I'll have 20 records, right? So what is a is there any constraint on this? I mean, like, do I need to follow any particular order? Yes, let's say the column count, I have 2 columns, it should be the same. If I have 3 columns, I cannot do the union. Okay, and also the data types, it should match again. I don't care about the name of the columns, you can put whatever the name. Okay, that is a union. Union will have distinct records. Okay, but that means only unique records. Union all, union all will have complete records, like 20 records, complete, whatever, it doesn't matter, even though it comes with the duplicate records as well. Okay, any questions on that, guys? I'm rushing a little bit at this point of time because if we go too slow, I cannot cover the topic. That's why. Sure. Any questions on that? Okay. Now let's talk about left outer join. Okay, with the same example what we have. Right. I'll do the left outer. So far we did equi join. So we are comparing 2 columns with the same data type, and we are getting the data. Right. Now let's do a left outer join, how it will behave. Before going there, I'll show you. You might have seen the picture already, but I will be showing you again. Right. Forget about that. Okay. So I'll get the records like this. So let's say this is my table A and this is my table B. You might have seen this picture already, but I'm giving an explanation. So what does that mean? So if I do a left outer join, okay, right, I'll be getting the entire details from the left table, what irrespective of whether it is matching or not, and I'll be getting the matched records from the right table. Okay, right? Let's understand that by an example. I'll duplicate this query. Duplicate this query. So here I cannot use you need to follow appropriate syntax. Okay, I cannot use comma, that is for equi join. Now I need to do a left outer join, right? So let's go leftr left, oh sorry, left T join. See, again, outer is not mandatory. It is optional. If you want, you can do outer, or if you don't want, you can leave it. So it doesn't matter. It's up to you. Okay. Now I need to do, it's not a where condition. There is something called on. That means I'm specifying on what columns it has to join. Okay. Well, let's see. See, the HR department doesn't have any employees. Even since I kept it on the left side, that means I'm getting all the data from the left table. Clear, guys? Any question on that? Okay. Similarly, let me explain the right outer join. So I will take a new drawing again. So you might have seen this drawing again, the same one, but this time instead of the left fields, we will be getting the all the data from the right table. Right. So this is table A and table B. Let's, for our better understanding, let's do this in our query again. Right. This time I will change the table a little bit. Okay. I'm taking this as my, okay, let it be like this. Right GHT, right join. Simple. That's all. Right. We are not getting any HR because this time my department D is my left table. So from our diagram, we don't get any thing that does not match in the left table, right? We'll get all the records from the right table only. So if I move my departments to the right side, we will get all the details as well. Right. Any questions on this, guys? Okay. Let's see
Hi,
the inner
Harish.
join quickly. Yep. Yes.
At line number 12,
Yes.
or we can say on 9th as well, how it is taking the DE part, because we are using like departments D, that is understood, but where it is taking from that DE department.
Okay. So if I understand you correctly, so why are we taking DE and why it is taking DE, right?
Yes, because we are not specifying here anywhere in this query.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what did I tell? This is alias name for this department.
Okay.
Okay. You
Yeah.
can use alias names. So similarly, this is alias name for this department, DE. So for department underscore EMP, it is a alias name. So whenever I
Sorry,
have,
my bad. Yeah. I thought it is column name DPT underscore EMP.
oh,
It is the
no,
table
it is
name. Okay.
alias name. So
Yeah, got it.
there is something
Thank you.
called as, it's optional. So I didn't use it. Okay. So which means departments as D. This is also
Yes,
valid.
yes.
Sorry guys, I forgot to tell you that. So it is also valid. There are some optional in your syntax. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Thank you.
Now let's go back to our diagram thing. We left with one inner join. So that's also called as equi-join basically. So which we already did here. Okay, I'll show you with the picture again. This is my table. This is my table A and B. We will get only whatever their matches. Okay, whatever the record matched with the equals condition. Only this part. We are not getting this part. We are not getting this part. Okay. Let's come back to that execution again. Right. These are result set for me. So any questions on that, guys?
Hey,
Okay.
Harish, there is self join also. Could you please explain self join?
Oh, you mean the self join thing? Unfortunately, I don't have that data. Okay.
No, for the explanation purpose only.
Okay, I'll tell you how to do that. Let me go here. Let me open a new one, new diagram. Okay. So I have a table A. Okay. So for self join here, so far we dealt with the inner join, outer joins. That means left outer, right outer join. So this case is a special case. Okay, it's a self join. So I don't need two tables, right? So I need to join my own table. So I need to make this as two tables, right? For any join, remember, for any join, I need two tables. So I'll be taking this as two tables. A1. So then I can join on any column, whichever I want. Let's say, let's take an employee table. Unfortunately, I do not have the designations here. I forgot to keep that. But if we have an employee table with designation, that will be good. That will be a good candidate. Okay, I'll just take only two columns here. So number, designation, okay, and manager. Okay, let's say I have employee 1 and designation is software. Okay, my manager is something like, let's say 3. I have 2 software, manager is 3. Okay, I have 3 is manager M, and he doesn't have any manager in our for now. Okay, this is a good candidate. Now my question is, I wanted to find, okay, I wanted to print employee name, okay, employee designation, and his manager name. Okay, I need to add one more column, my bad. So let's say name here, whatever the name. Okay, I'm not writing the names, right? So how can I write a query? For this purpose, I need to take this as two different tables, right? I'll write a query here. Unfortunately, I cannot execute. So for the same scenarios, select as read from my employee, let's say, okay, employee, let's say E1, comma, employee E2. Now I'm considering this as two tables, right? So now I need to write a join condition. What is my join condition? Right, going back here. So this is the employee ID. It is the same ID in here, right? So I can map these two, right? I can find a relationship between these two columns, right? Let's go here, where E1 dot, okay, manager ID or manager, just manager, equal to E2 dot EMP ID. That's all. So the result set will be, if I select everything, I'll get everything, but I just need the names and everything, right? So based on that, based on the selection criteria, I can write EMP underscore name, that is E1 from the table, comma, E2 dot, again EMP name, okay, that is my manager, that will be my manager name, comma, if you want EMP number, that's from the E1 table again, E1 dot EMP underscore number. So I will get the information whatever I'm looking for. Did I answer your question? Am I missing something?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so clear with that, guys? Right. Now going back to our agenda for today. Done with our database stuff. Okay, what is my agenda? Okay, so this is done. We are at IOC. Cool. Okay, first of all, how many of you guys work with IOC? Let me open a new tab. IOC. Guys, how many of you worked with IOC?
Yes, sir. Is I work with IOC.
I can't hear you. Your voice is low. Just let me. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Is I work with IOC in Spring only. We have used IOC container, which is like taken care of like creating the object, manage the object, restore the object. All the things are taken care by IOC only.
Perfect. That's perfect. Okay. So let's write object management. basically when we speak in the GMEND object management, when we speak in the terminology of Spring, the objects will be called as beans. Okay, I'll tell you why we call as beans. Okay, next, anything else? Anybody, anything else? You have any definitions in your mind?
Yeah. Before IOC, what we used to do, we were creating the object, then injecting that object into the another one, like on the dependency object, dependent object. But
Okay,
once IOC came or Spring came with this concept, the IOC will be doing our work. That is why we call it the inversion of control, because it is reverting uh, the whole process. It is itself creating the object and then injecting into it, making our
perfect. It's a good
development
explanation.
easy. Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
so but what exactly it is? Is it a principle or is it a design pattern? What exactly it is, right?
It
We
is
need
a
to know.
principle.
Yes, it is a principle. Okay, that's where I'm getting at. Okay, for the guys who don't know what is IOC, the main reason why Spring is so famous, right? That is because of this concept, IOC. That is because of the bean management, okay? And dependency injection. It is one of the flavor which we can explain what IOC is. It's not only one. Dependency is not IOC completely. There are other ways which you can achieve IOC as well. But it is a concrete example only. Okay, for our understanding purpose, we will deal IOC with dependency injection. Right. Let's come back to the definition or a little bit of explanation. So I can specify, okay, I can tell IOC as a principle in software engineering, okay, by which the control of objects are transferred to framework. So what does that mean? We are instead of like like a, our peer told that if earlier we used to create objects, right? How do we create object in Java? By using a new keyword and whatever the class name here, right? And there are other ways. I'm not going to speak about that. The class.funname also will create a object. Similarly, when you're deserializing, we will create that, and cloning will do. So I'm not going to speak about that, but this is one of the legacy way, right? For our better understanding. But now with IOC, okay, we are giving this to the framework. The duty of the framework is to create the object for us. We are not going to do this anymore. Okay, that is a statement. Look, again, I'll repeat the statement. It is a principle in software engineering, okay, by which the control of maintaining the objects or creating the objects, we providing it to the framework, transferring that to the framework, which means the framework will take care of all these things, the maintenance of the beans, the maintenance of the objects. Clear, guys? Any questions on that? Okay, now I have one more statement to make here about IOC. I already told you we are relying on framework to do the maintenance of the objects for us. So I can tell the other way as well. What is that? So I can tell IOC enables the framework to take control over the flow of the program, right? The previous statements justifies this statement. Cool. Now, what are the advantages of IOC? One of our flow told it decouples, right? That means if there is any dependency, it will be decoupled. How? We will see that with an example. But remember, it's one of the advantage. Now, I have been talking about testing yesterday. With the IOC, testing has become very easy. Why? Because I don't need, there is no hard-coded dependency. Again, we can speak this with an example, but for our explanation purpose alone, right? Dependency, removal of dependency, I can write advantages. Decoupling, decoupling. Then removal of dependency, which makes my testing easier. Testing EASI testing easier. Okay. Now what else? I can tell, since I removed the dependency, since I decoupled everything, I can tell with this concept, can we achieve modularity? Right? We can achieve modularity. Right. What else? What do we have? Let's say in our yesterday's example, I was showing, let me open that again. New image. Okay, here you go. Right. So in Java, is it possible to create an object for interface? Is it possible? Any question? Anybody?
No.
Right. We cannot create, but we can reference the interface to an implemented objects. Sorry, implemented class object. Right. In our case, I can reference vehicle. Let's say it'll be easier for me to explain. Okay. In our case, VHICLE V. Let's capital V equal to new car. I can do that, right? Because car is implementing vehicle, right? Similarly, I can do the same. Vehicle V equal to new bike, right? So why do I have to tell all these things here right now? Because I'm going to make a statement that, so with the decoupling and everything in place with the IOC, now whenever I want, I can either pass this object or this object based on my needs, right? Easy. That is like, it is easier to switch between objects. Easier to switch between objects, right? Now, any questions on that, guys? Okay. Coming to the Spring IOC. Okay, what exactly is IOC? I will tell. There is a interface called as application context. Okay, that is IOC for us. I know it's a debatable comment, but basically that is IOC. That is a container. Okay, now what exactly I mean by that? There are multiple implementations of that interface in our Spring framework, right? One of them is, let's say, I'll name it here. There are multiple. So I can tell you, like, class path XML application context. Okay, that is one of the implementation of application context. This is IOC. Basically, it provides a container for us where our beans will reside. Our beans lifecycle will be there. I mean, like, maintained by IOC maintains our bean lifecycle. Okay, context. This is the interface. This is IOC. Basically, I would say it is a container, and in implementation is this one. And we have for when we speak about web applications, we have web application context. Web application context, right? And there is one more. There is file system application context. File system application context, right? Now let's see this with an example, the IOC. Okay, okay, let's create a simple Java project. I'm not going for a web here. This is, I know the guys whoever talked about IOC, it may be a repetition for you guys, but there are some freshers who don't know anything about the Spring, so this is for them. Okay, I'm just creating a new project. It's better for me to share independent modules for you based on the day by day. So that's why I'm going with this way. Java project. Next. Okay, let's say IOC test. Next. And I'll finish it up. Not required. Let it be in my view. Okay. Just I'll create a simple POJO. I'm not going to create any dependency or anything. A simple POJO. Let's name it student. Okay, let me create in a first a package. Test. Right. Student. Oh, sorry. Finish. I don't need any comments there. Right. If you remember our yesterday's session, I have been speaking about POJOs. There are some, some thumb rules which we need to follow to make it a POJO, right? So we'll follow that right now. So it's nothing but, okay, it's one of the concept in our object-oriented programming. Okay, we are very much familiar about that. I will tell you how exactly we create a POJO now. Let's say I have a name, okay, ID and a department. That's all. String name. Okay, I'm declaring everything as private, guys. Okay, string department, or let's say year. Okay, it is int. It's not a string. It's an int. Right. Private. What else do I need? Yeah, for now it should be good. We have two characters. Just for an example. Okay, let me generate setters and getters. Right. So in order to make you a complete POJO, okay, pure old Java object. So all the fields, all the data members should be private, and they should be having a getter and setter, and it should be public, right? And we need to have a constructor. Okay, I'll create parameterized one, and I'll create a default constructor without any parameters. Okay. Okay. Do I need to have a toString and hash code methods? That depends on your implementation. For now, I'm not going to store it in any of the hash-based collections, so I'm not going in deep there. But for our understanding, I may print the student details, so I need toString method. Right. Source generate toString method. Okay, that's cool. Now, I will be having a main class to execute this. Let's name it as just finish. Okay. Now, in our traditional way, like I already told, how to create an object. Student equal to new student. Okay. And we will be using, let's say I am directly passing it my constructor. I have my constructor, right? So I'll be passing name Harish and my year is 1. Okay, that's all. These are regular way of creating an object. That means we are controlling the object creation, right? Now, isn't it good if we give the object creation, creation and maintenance of the objects to somebody else, like let's say framework. It will be better for us. It will be a less burden for us, right? Let's do that. How it will be. Now let me print this. Student dot to string. Cool. Right. See, this is how we do in the traditional way. Now let's go to the Spring of okay, let's go to Spring Framework. How to do the IOC in here? Okay, it's just a simple example. I have provided you with the jar files, right, guys? So I'll be using the jar files here. So please take your time. Okay, take some time to copy them and paste it in here. We're not using any maven. If you are comfortable, please go ahead. No worries at all. I'm completely okay with that. Okay. Where's my copy. Pasting it here. I have to build path. Okay. So can I continue, guys, or do you need some more time?
You can continue it. Not an issue.
Okay. So I will be creating a bean file here. Okay. In the class path. I need it is an XML file. Right. So let's name it beans. Okay. Beans.xml. Finish. Right. Now I need to follow the appropriate instructions or the way we have to create a bean files. There is a way. So I cannot type each and every word. So I'm just copy pasting, which I have it handy. If you guys want, I can share it with you. Okay. I will take out this for now. Okay, com.test.student. I'm naming it as student1. Okay. If you want, I can send this over chat to everyone. That is a bean file. Please name it beans or whatever you want, but you need to change it properly. Okay, when you are trying to create beans out of that. Now it's our time to initialize our IOC. How can I do that? I already showed you, right? What are the classes? Okay, what is the interface that we can call it IOC and we can initialize the IOC from, right? So I can create an object for application context. Application context. If you see that properly, we are getting it from org.springframework.context, right? That is this jar file. Okay, that is this one. So let's name it context, the object as context, and here I can create an object for either I can go with the class path, XML or file system or web application. That depends. For now, let's go with the class path. When we are dealing with the web application, I'll show you how to do that with the web application. Okay. Now let's go with the class path. Class path. XML application context. That's the right one. Right. Is it enough? Yes, it is enough. But I want to pass my bean file definition here, like my bean file name here. All I need to do is right beans.xml. Very cool. Now let's see how do we get the bean. Okay, let's see. Now I have a student class. I know that I have already created a bean with a student. Okay, student1 equal to, okay, now I need to get the context object. From that I can ask my IOC, my container, to provide me with the object which I'm looking for, right? Now do you know the name? Yes, I know the name. What is the name? This is student one. Oh, sorry, I need to use contains will is a boolean. Okay, whether to find out whether it has a IOC as a object or not. So I need to use get bean. So I'm pretty sure that there exists, so that's why I'm blindly going get bean. Right, what is my bean name? That's my bean. Right, see, it is showing error. That is because I don't know what kind of object it has in the container, right? So I need to convert into my appropriate object, the whatever the object which I need for, right? In our case, it is a student object which I'm looking for. Student. That's all. It's a typecasting, right? Now let's see. System.out.println of IOC object. Student1 dot to string. Spelling mistake. Student1 dot to string. Right. Let's execute this. Okay. See guys, I haven't created a new object here, right? So all I did is I gave the instructions to IOC how it has to create. That's all. The instructions are in the beans file. So whenever we are loading the bean file, okay, I'm telling IOC to create an object of type com.test.student and name it after student1, and it will be available for me whenever I try to access this object. Right, now let's see how can I pass the property values. We have some getters and setters, right? Let's see how to access that. Right, property. So what is my name? Whatever the name you are giving here, not this one, forget about this part. Whatever the variable name you are giving here, you need to access the same name. What is my value? You can give any value. Let's say Harish. Right. Now, do I have any other property? Yes. What is my other property? It is year. Right. What is the value? What is my value? I can give anything. Let's say I want to give 21. Maybe first year, second year, anything. Right, guys. Now let's see. Again, if you look at this properly, there are some logs which are provided by the Spring for us by default. That's why we need to include this common logging chart. There is a dependency. Okay, so it will print the logs for us. You can look at here, loading XML bean definition from class path beans.xml. So whatever the name we are providing, it is loading that. And now it's going to arg.stringframework.beans.factory.support.default listable bean factory pre-instantiate singletons, right? So it is creating a singleton object for us now. And the object name you can find from the definitions is student1. Any questions on that, guys? Okay, let's continue. If nobody has any questions. Right. Do you guys want to know about the bean life cycle inside a container? Or if anybody want to share, I'm more than happy to listen. Please. I've been speaking about the bean life cycle and everything, how it is getting created, right? How it will be destroyed. If anybody wants to take initiation, please. I would be appreciate that. I'll appreciate that. Okay, I'll come back to the notepad again. Guys, because we just saw some logs, right? Our Spring is doing something. We just saw some logs. Okay, so let me take again one more image. Right, what is the image which I have here? Simple. And that's all. That's our bean life cycle. Okay, first, what it will do from our input, what are we providing? We are providing a bean file, right? Beans file. So it has multiple of beans. So bean is nothing but an object, guys. Okay, if you come to Spring terminology, it is a bean. Okay, right. So all we are doing is like we are trying to create a IOC by using the application context, right? Initialize the IOC, and we are providing a bean class. Sorry, bean .xml, the XML file where we declare our bean files, right? Now, what it will do internally? First, it will take that, it will read the details, then it will instantiate the bean based on the bean ID and the bean class, right? And then we declare the properties there. If you remember property, right? Okay. So properties, we declare it later, right? So it'll take them, okay, and then we still have you can do custom init also if you want. Okay, let me go back to okay. Now once it is populating, it needs to have a name. What is the name we are giving, right? The ID is by default, it will take the ID as a name. Then we saw that it is assigning it to a bean factory. So what is a bean factory? It is a fact, basically, if you guys are aware about the design patterns in Java, it is one of the design pattern which it follows. It's like factory pattern method basically, right? And then it is making it available for the application context. We are setting it for the application context, which means it is available in our application. Then pre-initialization process. We can call whatever you want after initialization, whatever you want to do, you can do it. Then we can go for the custom init. I told you you can always use the init, and at the end you can post initialization, and then bean is ready to use. Just use it by .get name and everything. Similarly, if we are using the class path, basically in window-based application or in our local, you have to use destroy, custom destroy. If you want, you can do that. Any questions on that, guys? Anyway, we don't have to do anything literally. All we have to do is tell our IOC how to create a bean. That's all. What all the properties it has, okay? What it has to take, what is the name of the bean, okay? And how, okay, if there is any dependency, we'll come to dependency later. But for now, we'll just speak about only bean, right? Any questions on that, guys? Okay, I'll take it no and move forward. Right. Okay. Do you guys think of, by any chance, how do I pass a collection, right? Anybody? Can anybody tell me how can I pass a collection in here?
List tag.
Or is it a util? Is it list or is it, I know, see, collection, basically we can go for the list, right? But there is something called JSTL, which we spoke about, right? So to create that, there is something called this. Let me do that for you guys. Like this, right? And then I can specify whatever the collection I want. And then I can specify the ID, whatever the ID I want. Let's say, let's name it, please tell me one name. Student list. Okay, I didn't come to dependency yet. I'll speak about that. Okay, let's take simple names. Okay, names. And then what is my class? See, here I'm providing the class, right? So I need to tell my IOC, okay, what is the type of the object it is creating, what is the type of the bean it is creating. So I need to tell the class, right? Class equal to, I am assuming everybody is aware of the package where we have list, right? java.util. Whatever you want. Can I create? Okay, here the question comes again. List. What is list? Is it interface or a class?
Interface?
Exactly. So is it possible for me to create an object for interface?
No.
No. So I have to go with implemented class, right? Implementation of that list. So let's say I can go with array list or linked list. For our understanding, linked list, because it is our basic data structure which we studied from our engineering. Linked list, right? Now, if we remember the syntax of the list, right? Let me put the list syntax here. I'm assuming, because I told names, so I'm assuming I'm taking a string only. Java.util.list list equal to new. I told linked list. But I don't have to pass anything, but there is a syntax error. Why is not working? Okay, so this is my syntax, right? So exactly the same passion you need to give. You need to provide everything, right? If we look at this, so I gave my ID, how to create the name. That is why, if you go here, this is that ID, the name of the object or bean, right? What is the type? Okay, linked list. That is this one, right? Now I'm missing something. What is that? So what kind of list is it? What kind of values will it carry, right? I need to provide that as well. I'm speaking about these guys. List of what? List of what? List of strings. So I need to provide that. Value hyphen type equal to, what is that? Is it possible for me to create a list of int, not integers? It is not possible.
Internally, it is not possible.
Yeah. That is because of the hashing concept. I guess you are aware of that, right? I don't have to go in detail there. Oh, there is a spelling mistake, guys. There is a, is it a util.list is not bound? What does that mean? Let's see. VALUE value. It's like it's similar to this. Dot add. Okay, whatever you are providing there, you are specifying the, let's say if I want to add, so you are specifying the bean container to add the values to the list. That's all, right? I can add Harish. That's it. So this is how you're gonna pass collections. using IOC, guys. It appears it is the same for any kind of object. Okay, it is same for any kind of object. Let it be the custom object which you are going to create. Anything. If it is map, it will change here. That's all. From list to map. Right. Any questions on that, guys? You have to understand, okay, the syntax. That's why I've been explaining, taking here what is this and how, what is the bean representation in the beans.xml. Of course, we can do with the annotations, but before going there, we need to understand how a bean works, right? By using XML files. So that's why I've been doing this. So any questions on that? If no questions, we can move forward to dependency injection. Right, let's go to dependency injection. Okay, we saw about bean lifecycle, that is done. Let's talk about DI. Okay, the floor is open, guys. If you guys want to make any statement here, please. Anybody?
Basically, dependency injection is injecting one object which is dependent on some other object.
Okay, so injecting one object into, I can tell, into another class. Can I tell it to another class?
Another class object.
Basically, at the end, everything will be object only. Okay.
Yeah.
Class. Right.
So there will be two objects. Like one will be the dependent, and then one will be the owner object.
Exactly. So there will be two objects, A and B. Right. Let's say A is dependent on B. Okay. Let me represent this way. A is dependent on B. So instead of creating a new, we'll be injecting B into A. Correct? Is that statement correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Any other statements, guys?
Dependency injection. There are two types of that.
Okay.
Setter and constructor.
Okay. There is one more. We'll come there.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a good point though. That's a good point though. So it's not like this one. It's like number of ways we can do the dependency injection. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Number of ways. I can write the first one is setter. Okay. Pardon my spellings again. CTTS setter, and the second one is constructor. Okay. Now there is third one. I can tell it's if we remember auto while it is a field based. Okay. It's field based. Yes. Any other statements? Sorry, I can't hear you. Your voice is very low. Well, it's okay. Now let me explain. Okay, as I already told, dependency injection, DI, is a flavor of IOC, right? So why do we need DI? What are we going to achieve with the DI? The main achievement is loose coupling. Okay, as one of our peers told, okay, we will be injecting dependency into another one instead of creating a new object. So exactly that is what going to happen with the DI, right? Now I can define, let's consider this DI for a layman, okay, for a person who doesn't know anything. Okay, dependency injection is like two words, right? Dependency plus injection, right? So first we need to understand what is dependency. Then we will talk about injection. Let's say there is a class A the same example which I gave, A depends on B and we'll be injecting B. So I'm trying to put it in the code way here. Okay, now I will tell A is dependent on B. So what do I mean by this statement? I'll just write like something like this. Let's say I don't want, I'm not bothered about the access modifiers here, right? Let's say like this, right? And there is a constructor, public constructor. Right. B equal to new B. Okay, this is a regular way of writing, right? This is a regular way of writing the code when there is a dependency for a class, and we'll be loading that method or loading that object at the time of when we are going to load the actual class. Let's say class A. So when I'm going to create an object of class A, that means by calling the constructor, whatever the dependencies which I have for class A, I'll be loading them at the point of time as well. So this is a traditional way. Now, this is tightly coupled, if you see, right? So whenever I'm taking class A, whenever I'm loading class A, by default, I'm getting class B. I don't have choice of passing whatever kind of object I need. It is always a new object, right? That is a problem. Now, let's see what is loose coupling here. How can I do that? The same thing here. So whatever I spoke, this is about dependency, guys. Okay. Now let's talk about injection. So here, if I pass this as a parameter, can I tell like for this context, this dot b equal to whatever the object you are passing, I'll be assigning to that. So now, if you observe this, I have the liberty of passing whatever the object I want, whatever kind of object, in whatever state it is, whatever the properties it has, right? I don't have to always depend on my constructor to create me a new object, right? Now, this is loose coupling, right? So now let's see how we are going to inject that. Let's say our class A is being called somewhere else. Let's say let's speak about IOC. Okay, it'll be better explaining the thing with drawing. Okay, let's imagine our crap, this is too big. Okay, let's take this. It's not database, guys. It is a container. I'm representing this as a container. Okay, this is my container. Now, from our first statement, container is responsible for creating all kinds of objects for us and maintaining them as well. It will see through the entire bean life cycle, right? So now I will be based on my instructions. My IOC will create a bean here for me. Let's say that is B. And now, while creating while creating a bean of type A, I'm telling, okay, my container to inject the bean into A. So at that point of time, it will create A, but it injects this B into this one. So I am not going to create a new object. So I'll be using the same one what IOC created for me. And there are bean scopes. We will speak about that. But for now, for our understanding, how we are injecting. So we will be using the same object and we'll be placing it in the A. So that we won't do, but we will give instructions to IOC to do how to do it, like whether it is a setter based or constructor based, and we'll speak about that, right? Any questions on that? Guys who haven't worked on Spring, please ask questions if you have any, or if I'm going too fast, please stop me and tell that Satish, Harish, you are going too fast, and you can slow down a little bit. I can do that. because these are the core concepts of Spring. If you don't understand this, when we start going into the annotations, it'll be really difficult for you guys to understand. Cool. That is good. Now let's talk about different ways of, so it's dependency plus injection. Let's talk about different ways of injecting a dependency, right? Anyway, we spoke about this one. This is a, we can inject it by using the constructor. Okay. If I do with the beans, okay, how can I do this? Okay, I will explain this directly in the web application, if it is okay for you guys, or if you want, I can do a standalone program again. It's not going to take much time for me. Either way, what do you guys prefer?
Standalone.
Okay, standalone. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, so let me take out this. I don't need that. I don't need that. Okay, beans.xml. I need this. Okay, my water bottle. Okay, guys, let's take 15 minutes break. I am out of water. I need to bring some water. Okay, and we'll be back. We'll continue our session again. I'm sorry for that, guys.
Okay, Harish.
Okay,
Thank you.
Harish.
Where is my recorder? Something happened. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Oh, that is good then. Something happened to my recorder meeting controls. Okay, now it started. Good. Yeah. So from our discussion, so dependency injection can be achieved when at least we have two classes. Basically, a class is dependent on another, right? So we can achieve that. Now we have only one class, that is student. Let's say now I'm going to create one more class, okay, which is department. Let me write it down here in the notepad. Okay. So for explaining, for understanding DI, okay, we need two classes at least. At least two classes. Okay. Now, in the example which I gave for the IOC, so I created student class, right? We have already student class. Let's say I'm naming it like student.java. Now I will create one more class by name departments. department department.java, and my department will have dependency on student. Okay. Student. For now, I'm not going with any list. Okay, I'm just going with only one object. It is student, right? Now let's get back to Eclipse and we will see how we will be using the for the first one. Okay, here we will be seeing, or we will be talking about constructor based injection. Later point of time, once we understood this, once we are clear with this, everybody is okay, we can move forward to setter based. Okay, now let me come back to our bean class. Right, So now I have already created a student object, right? It's our time to create a bean. First of all, I need to create a class, right? Let's say my class name is DEPARTMENT department. Sorry, DEPARTMENT department. Okay. What kind of properties a department has? Again, it's a POJO, guys. Remember, it's a POJO. So we have to follow the naming conventions. We have to follow all the rules which were imposed by Spring Framework, right? Whatever the field, irrespective of what, I have to go with the private, and then I need to create setters and getters. Let's do that, right? So I will be having department name, DEPARTMENT department name, right? Now I need to create an dependency, right? Let's say I need a student here, student, right? So what did I tell you about having getters and setters, right? So let's create getters and setters for this. Getters and setters, select all. Okay, that's cool. Where's my source? Getters and setters. I already did that, my bad, sorry. Source, constructor using fields. Okay, for our understanding, for now, I will take out department. Okay, I'll take out department. Cool, that is good. Right. I will create source, constructor using fields again. Deselect all. Okay, cool. Now let's come here and create. So I don't have patience to create bean. I'll just copy paste this. So I will name it department1, DEPARTMENT1. Okay, sorry, DEPARTMENT. Okay, that's correct. And what is my class name? So it is department, DEPARTMENT, and it is present in com.test package. So we need to provide everything properly. Cool. Right. Now let's see. I haven't provided any property, right? I haven't provided any constructor reference, anything. Let's see how it behaves. Okay. Now let's get the department object or department bean. Okay. Now I'm copy pasting the same name, guys. Okay. I'm copy pasting the same name. Now it will return me an object. Like I said earlier, I need to convert into appropriate object. Now I am expecting a department object, right? So I need to do a typecasting. So that's why I'm going with department. Sorry. Right. Okay. Do I have a toString method there? So I don't have any. Let me create one in the department. It is okay. It is for our understanding. Whenever you have a toString, I'm going to console, print everything to console. So it'll be easier for me. Source toString. That's okay. I don't want any inherited methods. Student. Okay. Right. I created a toString method, guys. That's just for printing it to console. Now in the line number 18, I am able to retrieve the object from IOC based on the name, right? Get bean SYESO system.out.println, right? Department to string. Now let's execute this and let's see whether our IOC, whatever we created using the class path application context, will be able to successfully load the bean or not. And we'll observe the logs as well. Okay, let's see. Okay, now if you see here, loading the bean definition from class, right? We have two beans there. Will it load? Yes, it doesn't matter. You can configure n number of beans and our IOC will not complain. Okay, it will read. And in the next line, pre-initializing singletons. When I come to when we have a good understanding of this bean creation using IOC and dependency injection. So after that, I will talk about the excuse me guys, scope of the beans. Okay, for now it is singleton. I will explain what is singleton later. Don't worry about that. Let's continue. Now it is telling me we have two beans defined, that is student one and department one. Okay, root of factory hierarchy. So that's what it is telling. Now let's see what we got. Nothing, because if I go to my beans.xml, I haven't configured anything here. I'm telling my IOC, okay, just to create the bean. I haven't injected any kind of bean. I haven't provided the dependency here, right? Let's understand this by example, by using a diagram. It'll be helpful. Okay. Okay. Now, like I said, let's consider this as our container, right? I'm trying to explain this because now I'm speaking about both IOC and dependency injection together. So let's understand that. Now I created already a student here. That is my student object. That is my student. STUD. Okay. Now I am telling my IOC, I'm instructing my IOC from beans file to create a department object. Right. That is department object. That's all. I haven't given any kind of instruction for my IOC to inject this method in here. No, I haven't given any instruction. Now let's see how to give that instruction. Okay, all diagrams, annotate. Okay, now it's a time to give instruction. Okay, we spoke about constructor injection, right? So you need to be aware of your constructor, what kind of parameters it is expecting, right? Even though we have two properties in our department class, if you go to department class, so we have two properties, right? Parameters, we can tell, but my constructor is accepting only one, right? Let's see if it is doable or not. Right now, so far we used to give the property, right? Now it's constructor injection, so I need to provide constructor reference, constructor arg. Okay, what is my type? What is my type? Okay, you need to provide the name of the class. Okay, what is the type of the object you are providing? Right, what is my type of the class? The student. There is a dependency on student, right? Now if we have multiple parameters, right, I'll show you how to provide multiple parameters here. Let's say for now I have only one, but still I'll go with index, right? Index 0, sorry, that is 0. And right now I need to provide a name, right? What is a name? In here, if you remember properly, the very first conversation about IOC, the name, it has to match the property name inside the class, inside the Pojo. Now here also is the same, so it has to match exactly the name, so it's student, right? Now everything is fine. Now I need to point this to appropriate direction. I need to inject the dependency, right? How can I do that? I can do that by using ref. So what is my reference? This is my reference. I'm injecting student 1, and that's all. Now let's rerun and let's see whether our IOC able to connect these two different objects, inject student 1 to department. Okay. Run as Java application. If you see now, again, same logs, it is loading both, right? Now there is a change in the console. What is the change? See this. We are able to successfully inject the student object. Any questions on that, guys? Or do you guys need any clarification, anything? So no, that means either you guys understood completely or you guys didn't understand anything.
Understood, Harish.
Okay, cool. That's cool. Okay. No questions. Okay. Now, if everything is clear, let's get back to injecting dependency using a setter. Okay. Now, we all know what are setters and getters, right? What is a setter? A setter function will be used to set a value for a property of for a variable in our Pojo class. Let's say, for example, let's take this student. So I can set whatever the student I want by using whatever the student object I want by using this set method here, the setter method here, right? Now let's do it programmatically. How we can do it? How we can achieve the setter based injection? Okay, in Spring. Again, I'm going here. I will create one more object. I will name it 2. Okay. No, I don't want the constructor. Forget about the constructor. Okay. Now I will use setter based. So what is a way to access setters and getters in XML? We already saw that, right? I told you it's a property. This is a setter, right? We are setting Harish to name. Similarly, we are setting year and 1 to the value 1 to year. Now it goes for the dependency injection as well, but instead of value, we are not directly passing any value. We will be referencing to some other object in the IOC. We'll see how we'll do that here. Property. So you should remember the name, guys. Property name equal to. If you don't remember, it's okay. You can always go back to the class and get the appropriate name, the property name. So for me, it is student. Okay. Now all I have to do is just provide a reference. Ref equal to, I am referring to student1. Right. If you want, you can create one more student and you can refer it, else it is fine. Now it's complaining because there is a end tag missing. Okay, now it's good. Now let's see. But before going there, did I create, did I read IOC? Did I read this object from IOC? No, I haven't. So let's do that. Right. Again, one more department. EPARTMENT department equal to the same way. Always remember, IOC will provide an object not in the format which you like. It will provide the object object, right? So you have to convert into your desired format. You need to typecast that object into your desired format. I'm repeating this again. Department context dot get bean. Okay, I am getting it. Now I need to department 2. Now let's say I need to print it. I'm not doing any operation there. I'm not performing any logic. Second bean. Main2 dot to string. Right. Now let's execute this. See that? If you see this, we are not setting anything for the department, so that's why we are getting null. But for the student, we are referencing to an existing object in the IOC, which has a value of Harish and year equal to 1, and I'm able to retrieve that object. I'm able to successfully inject that object into my department class. Okay. Now let's see how can I set the department also. Is it possible for me to set along with the dependency injection? Right, I can do that. Let's see. Property name equal to, but you need to remember the name again, guys. It always maps to this name. Right. Now, do I need to go with a reference or a value? Is a department an object? No, it's not an object. Sorry, value equal to, what's my value? Let's say dev. Let's run this. Right. Now let's see the output. So I'm able to set my department name, which is not an object, and I'm able to set student, which is an object. I'm able to inject the student, okay, by using the dependency injection concept. I tried using both setter and a constructor, right? Any questions on that, guys? So I can take that as a S, that everybody understood completely everything, right? Okay, cool. Right. Okay, so we are left with one more type of dependency injection, that is field based. Okay, that we will see later. Right now, let's revise the things, because I have been speaking almost for over 3 hours, three and a half hours probably. So let's see. I don't want to exhaust you guys with the concepts. Okay, let's see what we discussed so far. I want you guys to be proactive now and tell me what we discussed and what you guys understood from it. So it will be better for me, so that I can correct myself if I'm missing something, or if I'm not able to explain some concept properly. So it will be helpful for me to fix myself. Now let's do the old way again, the same. Okay, we did the setter based as well. Setter based injection. Right. Yes, guys. So, what did we learn from today's session? It is very bad, guys. I've been asking you every time repeatedly. Please take initiation. Okay, please.
MySQL queries, meaning joins, how to create joins.
MySQL queries. Basically, we covered DDL and DML both, right? DDL and DML, right? Do you guys have any questions on DDL and DML statements? Sure, no questions. Good. What is DDL statement? I'm repeating again. Data definition language. Okay. Why do we have to call it as a data definition? Because we are defining. That's why. What is DML? We are manipulating. That's why we call as data manipulation. We are manipulating the objects of relational database. Let's say a table. We are modifying a table. Like how? Maybe you are inserting data or removing data or altering the table itself. Sorry, altering the table, it's DDL. Deleting the data or updating the existing data. So that's why we call it as DML. Okay, next, what else we learned?
Joins, inner join, left join.
Joins. Let's name the joins. What kind of joint we learned?
Equijoin,
Equijoin. Cool.
join,
Left join.
Left join.
right
Right
join,
join.
Right join.
Inner join.
I'm sorry.
Inner join.
Yeah. Inner join.
Self join as well.
Self join. Correct. Right. What else we learned?
After that, we
Like-
came to the IOC.
No, guys. We discussed about union and union all, right?
Yeah.
Remember that?
So,
So if you forgot,
Also,
explain you guys
we
again.
discuss about primary key and foreign key.
Yes, we discussed about primary and foreign key. Perfect. And we also discussed about, if I remember correctly, we also discussed about some constraints, applying constraints on the columns, right?
Yeah, right.
Can you please name at least one constraint? Anybody, not only you. I'm really sorry. I'm not pointing to one person, just the
not
entire
null.
audience.
Not
One
null.
constraint, please.
Not null constraint.
Okay, that's correct. Not null. Okay.
Unique.
Unique. Perfect. Perfect. Next. What else?
Primary key.
Yeah, we already explained that primary key. Perfect. I showed you a manual ER diagram, which is not generated by the tool, which I wrote and show you how the relationships exist, right? Right, guys? Didn't I show you guys? Okay, let me open that again.
yes.
Okay, cool. Okay. We discussed about union and union all. We know the differences. Okay. What next?
Spring lifecycle,
Now, Spring Bean lifecycle. Okay, basically Bean lifecycle in Spring IOC. I would frame like this: Bean lifecycle in IOC. Okay, good.
We discuss about what is IOC and what are the advantages of IOC.
IOC advantages, IOC and its advantages. Perfect.
And we discuss about like dependency injection. What is dependency injection and what are the advantages of dependency injection? Why should we go for dependency injection?
Yes.
Uh,
What is the
with
need?
some like standalone application.
Okay, with an example. Perfect. Right.
And after that we go for like the types of dependency injection like shadow injection, constructor injection.
Okay,
With a
we
general
discussed about constructor injection, setter injection. Right. Here we discussed about
different
different types of
types of
IOC
application.
containers, right?
Yes, yes.
Perfect.
yes.
Types of IOC containers. Right.
Yeah, right. By
By
using like application context and edit the interface and the implementation is class path XML application context.
Perfect. Perfect. How to create IOC. Perfect. Right. Right. Anything else, guys? Did we discuss about anything else? Right. If we guys don't have any questions, I have a question for you guys. Okay. I expected this question from you when I sent you the bean file. So nobody asked that question. So I'm asking you. So I have a problem with that. Where's my bean file? Okay. Right. Bean is good. I accept. So it means it is a representation that we are telling the IOC. In the beans, we have bean. Perfect. So in the beans, we have bean. Right. What are all these things? Why do I have to provide all these things?
And these are the namespaces from where IOC container will take help to create the object or manage the life cycle of the beans.
Okay. One more question here. I don't understand what is this. So I'm a layman, right? So I don't know what is XMLNS. What XMLNS will do? Can somebody tell me? Why I have to specify XMLNS there? Why I have to specify XML schema location? Okay. Can somebody please explain me? Why I have to specify the XSD? What is XSD? Anyone?
Maybe it is access the XML schema definition.
Okay. What will be there in that? What will I have?
There we provide the structure, how the XML file will be.
Perfect. Why I have to go for this XMLNS namespace? Well, let me explain, guys. So how many of you guys are really worked with XML? At least once in your lifetime.
While learning Spring?
Okay, not before that?
No.
Okay. Because I heard some guys was telling that they have experience building web services, basically REST. So I'm expecting answer from them. Okay, no issues. I will clarify why I need XMLNS. Okay, before going there, let's speak about the restrictions on XML. I mean, like rules on XML. Okay. First, let me open Notepad again. XML. Right. So, what makes a document XML? How can you tell it is XML? What is the structure? Anybody, please?
Basically, we have beans and bean tag inside that, and we have XSD and DTD document. Like,
No, forget about beans. We'll speak about general XML, then we'll come to beans, why we have XMLNS and everything. Okay. Right.
okay.
What is a thumb rule of XML? So can I tell? Okay.
Tags.
Please tell me, is it valid XML or not?
It's valid.
Yeah, it's valid
It's
Perfect. Why?
because it's a
because
opening
it has
tag
the
and
opening and closing tag.
That's all. Okay. Again,
and
does it have a root element? What is my root element here?
The name itself.
Perfect. So to make any XML a perfect one, or to call a message an XML, so it should have always a root element, right? And always it should close. There should be a tag which has to close, right? Perfect. These are the only two rules. You can write anything after that. Now let's imagine. Okay, I'm going with simple student again. And it's not a list, guys. It's not a list of, because I'm not creating a super element again, right? Now tell me, is it valid?
yeah, it's valid.
Seriously, is it valid? Right. There is one more rule. Okay. No repetition of tags in a single block.
Sorry from my
Right.
side, yeah.
The tag should be unique. Right. Ever heard of that concept? It is not a valid. Or if we, okay, the latest technology you can tell, like JAXB, we use JAXB, but previous to that you can use a DOM parser. My DOM parser will complain. Even JAXB will complain while parsing, while converting into Java object, XML to Java object. Right, I'll tell you why. Because this is a duplicate tag. I'm not allowed to have duplicate tags, right? But there is a need for my duplicate tag. What am I going to do? So this name will have my first name. Okay. This name will have my last name. I need it. Right. I need this tag. So I'm a stupid developer. Okay. I forgot to create like first name and last name. First name and last name. I didn't do it. So I created two names. Okay. By mistake. And I developed all the code. Now I cannot do the change. So tell me solution for this. Any solution for this, guys? Right. I'll tell you. That's where this namespace comes. XMLNS will be referring to something that's equal to, right? We'll be referring to whatever the namespace related to that, right? Something like blah blah blah. Now I will write this namespace name here, like I said, let's say XS, let's say first. Now I'll write first here. Now tell me, is it valid? I need to close though. Now tell me, is it valid? Yes, it is valid because all the keys are unique. Now understood the concept of XMLNS, why we need.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. Now time to come to beans again. Right. There is something called schema location. Why do I need a schema for XML? Okay, I cannot write any XML just like that. Okay, when it comes to the standards, if you're following W3C standards, you cannot just write like that. So in the previous example, I didn't follow any standards, so I just wrote like that. It is accepted. But if you're following W3C standards, there are the standards for creating the XML. You cannot create XML just like that. Okay, so you need to define your schema. What will the schema will have? So it will have all the information, even XSDs can be included in that. Okay, but it is always a good practice to place your XSDs outside, right? My schema information, what will it have? So it will have all the information related to the XML. Okay, what kind of tags are accepted? What is a data type for a tag? Let's say these are attributes, right? In a tag, right? So that information will be available in my XSD. Sorry, my schema. So what kind of tags are allowed? What are the in the if your XSD is also included, then we will have everything. The information. What is the data types accepted? How many? Whether it is a single instance or a list. Okay, like that. So that's why we need all this information. And Spring specification, the beans file specification is available here. Here. You can just go download that. Let's say if I'm going there, you can download that. It's also again XML, guys. If you want, there's some exception going on, I guess. So basically, it will give that. So any questions on that? Because when you come, okay, when you deal with web services, nowadays, we don't care about, after the REST comes into picture, from the time around 2010s REST, from that time onwards, there are no limitations on what you write and how you write. So nobody cares. But prior to that, there was a very strict format on the messages, right? You need to follow the appropriate messages. That's why these specifications are so important. It's like a guidelines how you are building your XML. It's a guideline. You need to follow that. Cool. Any questions on that, guys? So which means you guys understood everything, right? Everything we spoke about XML. Because this concept, the actual idea about the Spring Boot training is we will be dealing with the microservices and but prior going there, we will be dealing with some other web services. So you need to understand this concept. That's why. Right. If you guys do not have any other questions, I have one more question. Okay. I just gave you guys jars. You blindly copy pasted there. Nobody asked me, what is this jar for? What is that jar for, right? Can somebody explain me why we have the jar files there? We have commands.io, commands.logging, spring.asm, spring beans, spring context support, spring core, spring expression. Please, somebody give me explanation. Why we have to put all those jar files? Let it be even Maven also. Why I have to include all those?
As you said yesterday, the core jar will be the pillar of the Spring, we can say.
Perfect. That is accepted.
And
so if I include core, that will be enough, right?
yes.
Why do I need
Commas.login for logging the what is happening in our application.
Okay, perfect.
And context is where our IOC container classes, or we can say jar, is there.
That is perfect. Perfect explanation.
Spring expression, I think it is for the where we use JSP.
It's not about JSP. It's not about JSP.
I mean, yeah, it is the replacement of the JSP. So it is basically a language which we will be using instead of JSP. we can say.
Okay.
So that's it.
Basically inside the JSP, not instead of the JSP, inside the JSP we'll be using, but here we don't. Okay, we don't have JSP, but still I included that. Why?
Yes.
Okay, that is fine. Now I have that spring.asm. Why?
Don't know about ASM.
There is something called spring.asm, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to go in detail here, but I'll give an overview. Okay. Right. So whoever has experience, they will know the value of logging. Whoever doesn't have any experience, they will get to know the value of logging, because IT industry is not all about just development. Okay. Whenever you develop something, let's say you are working on a huge application. Once upon a time I was working for a company. So it was a legacy application. The code was something around like we used to maintain like 1080 tables something, and the class files are it's something around like I can't remember the count also. It's very huge application. So if there is a issue, okay, if there is a issue, how can you debug without log files? You don't know what is happening in the application if you don't log anything, right? So any framework, not only Spring, any framework, whenever they're providing, okay, they will log whatever is happening in the framework. For that purpose, okay, they'll put a dependency on the logging. It can be SLF4j, Commons. There are different frameworks for that, right? That is important. So that's why every framework will have a dependency on the logging. So we need to include the log files, right? Now, he explained about context. So we will be creating a Spring IOC from the context. So that's why we need that. And context has a dependency on the context support. There are some, I'm not going in technical detail. I don't want to go in technical detail about the classes which we use, the post constructors, pre constructors, all those things. Okay. I'm not going in detail, but those classes will be present inside that to maintain that bean life cycle. Right. Now, beans, what is beans? So we are not using any new keyword here, right? But how IOC will pick up? The beans will have all the classes which will do the logic for us. Whatever we are not doing. Now, what is ASM for? Right, we are trying in IOC, everything is perfect. We are trying to get the bean from IOC, right? So beans has a dependency on ASM. That's why we take. And now let's come to the expression. I'm not speaking about core, because I told you, even though if you use a single module, you need to include core for sure, because that is they build the entire Spring on the core module, right? Now let's come to Spring expression. Remember guys, I wrote the util, right? How do we get this? Okay, whatever the person told, it is absolutely perfect. This is called as Spring expression language, SPEL. So we will be using in the JSPs a lot. Okay, JSP or whatever the view technology. Basically, it is a way of communicating or writing the models to the view, I would say, instead of using a scriptlets or scripts. But why do we need it here? Right, we need that because we are passing something in the beans, which is expression. Even you can evaluate. Okay, let's say if there is a properties file, okay, I can evaluate if else condition by using expression here. Is it possible to write if else condition in XML by any chance? Anybody? No, that feasibility will be provided by this jar, this expression. Any questions on that, guys? So you understood, right? What all modules we added here as a jar files? Yes, no, yes, no.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, guys. So yesterday I shared the recording and also I guess a assignment, if I'm not wrong. So if you have any questions on that assignment, okay, please ask me. I am happy to help. So these assignments will be evaluated by one of your SME. Okay. And also today I'll be sending you the same day 2 recording sessions and also the notes. I'll try to capture the SQL queries which we did so that you won't miss anything. I'll send that as well. What else? What else you guys need? Yeah, I'll send the IOC test, whatever we did. I'll send that as well. And along with that, I'll be sending a simple assignment, which will test your understanding of IOC and dependency injection, basically. Okay. Now, if anybody in the session who hasn't received an email from me, please let me know. I'll add you to the mailing group and I'll share the details with you again. Did I miss anybody by any chance? Okay, so which means I understood that everybody got the email and everybody is working on the assignment, right? Cool.
Yes.
Perfect. So if you guys don't have any questions, we can wrap it up. I guess it's 12:30 or 1. It's lunchtime back in India, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll let you go. Okay. Stop recording. Yes.